Welcome! So a couple of weeks or so back there was a special video on the channel. Well, I say special, it was special to me. I enjoyed making it. Hopefully those of you who watched it found it rather special too. But it was kind of like a records roundup, but just a little bit different. It wasn't under that umbrella because everything was New Order 7-inch singles. I've been thinking about beefing up my New Order collection for a while, on vinyl predominantly. I've got everything on CD, I've got a lot on vinyl, but mainly singles. There was a lot that was missing really, a lot of holes in the collection. I explained most of this in the video from 2 weeks ago, so if you've not seen it yet, go back and watch it in my MISC unboxings and VC playlist. I always get the name of that wrong. It's the playlist that has everything that isn't a records roundup or Mini Disc Monday in it. Right, so this is basically a part 2 to that video, but there's more than just 7-inch singles here. There was a few holes in that particular section of the New Order collection that I needed to fill, and I think I've done a pretty good job with getting some of the ones that were missing last time here today. But there's also albums, and it's not just New Order, but it is related to New Order, so you'll see as we get going. So just going to show you everything that I've got, starting out with everything that's in this mailer here, which is just a random mailer that I grabbed. These are all eBay pickups, all from different eBay sellers I think, and as you can see from the size, these are all 7-inch singles. The first one is a rather anonymous looking 7-inch single, but this is The Perfect Kiss. Just come in a generic black sleeve. This never came out as a picture disc 7-inch in the UK. There was international editions and I was tempted to get one, but the price was a little bit high. That was kind of modelled on the Low Life album, which this was taken from. The 12-inch has a normal, regular picture sleeve, but the 7-inch doesn't. And the 12-inches, certainly in the case of The Perfect Kiss, I have a reissue version of that on 12-inch anyway. I decided to pick this up from eBay. The price, I'm going to struggle to remember prices for a lot of these. I don't think it was too reasonable, or too unreasonable I should say. Nothing really to look at. There you go. Side A, The Perfect Kiss, which was the lead single from Low Life, and side B is The Kiss of Death, which is like a dubbed version I think, from what I remember. So there we go, The Perfect Kiss. In a very similar vein, in fact it was the follow-up single to The Perfect Kiss, and there again the 12-inch I do have in a more up-to-date reissue format, but this is an original 7-inch of Subculture, and it's displaying the B-side there, Dub Vulture. I would like to get one of those black sleeves, the cardboard sleeves for this at some point, to be honest. I think they're quite nice. As this is just basically in a white paper sleeve and it's not that interesting. Subculture came out shortly after The Perfect Kiss, also from Low Life. A-side and then the B-side, Dub Vulture, is pretty self-explanatory. Once again, I can't remember the price of that. Got a lot to show you today, so if it seems like I'm rushing, I do apologise. But the records roundup that you would have seen on the channel a few days ago was my longest yet by a long stretch. And I'm mindful that this video doesn't go a similar length. Third and I believe final eBay pickup to show you here is the 7-inch single for Blue Monday 1988. Obviously this is an original picture sleeve, and then the seller included an inner with it as well. Blue Monday 88 on the A, and Beach Boogie, there again a kind of mix of Blue Monday, on the flip. The price of this, I think it was around, including postage, it was around the £6 mark. Maybe a little high for what it is, as long as it plays well and the condition is fine. I'm looking at the vinyl and to my eyes right now it all looks good. I've played everything that I showed in the last New Order video. A lot of that vinyl, well, all of it really, being of a certain age, shall we say. There were crackles and the occasional jump on some of them, but you know, generally these were things that I wanted to just add as collection pieces really. It's always a gamble when you're buying second-hand vinyl, and I think 7-inch singles get like the least amount of TLC out of everything really. But happy to have got Blue Monday 88 on 7-inch. There again, I've got a reissue modern version of the 12-inch in my collection already. Alright, so the next package I've got here, these two are open, and then one that came today, I need to open it on camera. But this one was from a website I've never used before. Now I was looking on Discogs and this particular seller came up, and as I often do, I just drilled into the profile a bit just to look at feedback and see if they've got a website, and they had got a website, and one of the items that I wanted was a little bit cheaper on their website, which can sometimes happen. So if you're on Discogs and you've seen a seller but they've also got a website, it's sometimes worth going on the site as well just to see if the prices differ. They don't always. The website, I think it may be a bricks and mortar shop as well, but I'm not sure, is called Vinyl on the Net, and it specialises predominantly in kind of punk and new wave vinyl. But I managed to pick up two interesting things here. It was a little bit unusual with the ordering process as well, because although they've got a website, you basically select what you want and then you just basically get an automated email saying that the owner of the shop or the owner of the site will get back to you with an invoice with the postage cost, which to be fair he did. And although it was a bank holiday weekend, you know, he mailed what I'd ordered out on Tuesday after I'd paid him, and there was no problems whatsoever. So I can recommend this site if people go on it and they think, oh, that's a bit unusual the way you buy stuff there. And like I say, he has got a Discogs store as well, so if you feel safer going down that road, then fair enough. I'll show you these, chuck that out the way. The first thing is something that I'd heard about many years ago. I'd forgotten it existed. It's actually a bootleg single. Now then, I've got plenty of New Order bootleg live CDs, live albums, but I don't own any bootleg singles until now. But this one, it's such an unusual thing, I couldn't resist it. And it is Ostrich A Go-Go. Now then, what this is, on side one, it's credited as Do the Ostrich, live from Woolwich Coronet on the, I think that's 2nd of April 1987. The song is actually called The Ostrich. It's not Do the Ostrich, but that's what it's called on here. And then 2 tracks on side 2, studio mix of Let's Go, which I'm assuming will be maybe a fuller version of the original version of Let's Go that was on the Salvation soundtrack. More about that later. And also a live version of Touched by the Hand of God from Nagoya, Japan, also from 1987. It's a limited edition of 1000. Mine is number 567. It's quite some years old, this, but as far as I know, it's in great condition. But the Ostrich, or Do the Ostrich, is like a novelty song from the 60s, and I've forgotten the name of the group who originally performed it, but what I do know is that one of the members of this group, at least for a time, and I think it was before the Velvet Underground had formed, was one Mr. Lou Reed, and he was in this American group that was responsible for Do the Ostrich. I'll put the name of the group on screen. It was difficult to find out any sort of specific information about them, to be honest. Not a proper sleeve, it's just like a sort of wraparound outer there, but it does come in a proper clean inner. For some reason, New Order are classed as the Vigilantes on the label here. I don't know why. I checked all this on Discogs. Yeah, it's an unofficial thing, but it is on Discogs, so I know that I'm getting the right thing. It's not like it's mislabeled or anything. It's on Expert Eye Records. I don't know if that's meant to be a hand or something. Probably looks obvious what it is, but my brain isn't figuring it out at the moment. But that's the label for the B-side. So this, I think, was quite expensive, more than what I'd like to pay for a single, especially an unofficial one, but whenever something says it's a limited edition of only so many amounts, that always gets me. I feel I've heard New Order's cover of The Ostrich before. It's something I think they played a handful of times in concert, mainly as a joke. It's never come out officially. New Order have never officially released any of their live versions of The Ostrich, and to the best of my knowledge, they've never recorded a studio version, or if they have, they've just refused to release it out of sheer embarrassment, probably. But just as an unusual curio for the collection, I thought this was quite interesting to get. So yeah, it was about £25 that. But also from this seller, Vinyl on the Net, I decided to get this. Now, I thought that I'd got this on CD. I hadn't, but I've got it on vinyl now, and it is the complete BBC recordings by Joy Division. I'll just take it out of this rather thick protective outer there. There again, I think this is actually a bootleg version, although obviously it's a different kind of bootleg in that it's just more like an unofficial version of an official release. I was happy to get this because it's coloured vinyl and it's got a nice glossy sleeve. I think it's classed as brand new. It would just never have been sealed in cellophane to begin with. I do pick up Joy Division stuff. You know, there's a lot of live bootleg albums out there. I've got certain live stuff that at least originally came out officially, even if the pressing that I've got isn't particularly official. And it's a similar situation with this, really. I don't think this is an official licensed by Joy Division pressing, but you know, it's done a good replica of what came before it, really. And it's on grey vinyl. It's really heavyweight grey as well, this. There's a little bit of marbling in it, but I think that's more kind of just how it's come out when it was being manufactured more than anything. Yeah, it's claiming to be on the Strange Fruit label, which is what this album originally would have come out on. As I say, I did think I had this on CD, but when I checked my Discogs collection database, it wasn't there. I've got a very similar thing from New Order, which basically covers all their BBC sessions, including the more later ones, as well as the more famous Peel sessions. I've got that on CD. Interesting pick up that, without being massively essential. It was about £20 this, by the way, so the total order, including postage, just under £50 from Vinyl on the Net. Joy Division complete BBC recordings. Right then, the next mailer is full of Discogs pickups, and I think these are from two different sellers. Another 7-inch single. This one is Bizarre Love Triangle, one of my very favourite New Order songs, arguably their best single of the 80s for me. Your mileage may vary, obviously. Now, this was £25. This was something that I ordered with non-New Order related stuff that I've shown in the Records Roundup that has been on the channel for the past couple of days or so. This, I think, was about £25. That's more than what I like to pay for a single. But for some reason, compared to all the other 7-inches that I've been showing, this one is quite rare and quite expensive. I don't really understand why, to be honest. I don't have the 12-inch of this because I'm waiting for a reissue of it when presumably they get round to doing the Brotherhood Definitive Edition set. But it's got Bizarre Love Triangle on the A and Bizarre Dub Triangle, yep, on the flip. Nice thick sleeve, this, and it's obviously been kept in really nice condition. So yeah, while it's a lot for a 2-track 7-inch, at least it's a near mint copy, really. Okay, the next, I think, how many? 4 records are from another Discogs seller, just the one seller who I created a bulk order with. Now, I had a few problems with this seller, but he did give me a partial refund. I included a particular New Order CD in this. Now, you won't see any CDs in this video, but he was claiming to be selling a certain promo version of a New Order CD that had like a little unusual freebie with it. And although I've got the album, I've had that album on CD anyway for many years, I thought for £3 I think he was asking for it, this promo edition with the little extra. I thought I'll get it, but no, turns out it was an incorrect listing. I contacted him and it took a while for him to respond, so I ended up leaving neutral feedback, and then that prompted him to respond. But he said, okay, I'll give you a discount and a few quid extra off your order as a gesture of goodwill if you remove that neutral feedback. And I was perfectly pleasant about it, you know, I wasn't insulting or anything. I just said, look, this is an issue I've had. So yeah, I did get a bit of a refund on this entire order for a CD that I'd already got anyway, and I just got sent the exact same copy I've always had rather than the one that I thought I was getting. I'll send that out as VCLT to someone at some point. Anyway, the items that I did get from him that I needed, first of all, New Order, True Faith, backed with 1963. I meant to pick this up from one of those eBay sellers last time, or was it from the Rare Vinyl? Somewhere I had the original 1987 7-inch for True Faith, and I forgot to add it to my order, but I knew that it was pretty widely available and I could pick it up. The issue with this is, and I don't actually mind to be honest, but it's got a large centre hole, so I think this is in fact a former jukebox copy. Now, Americans watching this will be used to that because all their 7-inch singles have the larger spindle hole there, and they need the 7-inch adapter to play them. But it's a lot more unusual over here unless you're getting X jukebox stock. This wasn't listed as X jukebox, it was just listed as the 7-inch. Doesn't matter, can't actually tell which side's A and which side B because the hole's that big. But I just wanted this for the collection, so I don't think I'm going to bother trying to upgrade it to a version with the smaller centre hole, to be honest, as I've got one, and it's more of a collection piece because I can listen to True Faith a number of ways, all of which easier than putting this 7-inch on. But I will listen to this because I listen to everything that I get. So that's that one. Then we have a couple of 12-inch singles. So I said last time I'm not focusing too much on the 12 inches that I need. A, because some of them I'm deliberately ignoring because I'm expecting them to be reissued to coincide with future definitive edition box sets, and other ones either because of the expense or anything. But these two 12-inch singles here, neither of which were particularly expensive. This one is one of the Crystal 12-inch singles that came out, and the text on it is really small and really faint as well. But I believe these are the Lee Coombs mixes. Yeah, side A, Lee Coombs remix, and side B, Lee Coombs dub. Very minimal sleeve, as you can tell. Condition, not bad. It's got the original Hype label on it, and it's also got an inner, so can't really complain. I've got the Crystal CD single on the 2 CDs it came out on, and it came out as a DVD single as well. So this is just a case of multi-formatting. There we go, Crystal 12-inch, and also in the 12-inch single realm is from 1993. Crystal was from 2001, by the way, but from 93, Spooky. 3 tracks on here, the Magimix, Moolah Mix and album version from the album Republic, the 4th and final single from that album. And I do have the 2 CD set. I've had that for many years now. Just a quick look at the vinyl here, as all of this is obviously open, being second hand, so it's fairly quick and easy to just be able to show you some of the labels and stuff. The sleeve, yeah, it's not the best condition ever, but it'll do me, it'll do me. Yep, happy to have that. And the final item from this Discogs seller is something that I did used to have on CD. I haven't owned it on any format for quite some years, but when I saw that this seller had it, and it is New Order related, although not strictly just New Order, I had to get it. It is the Salvation motion picture soundtrack. So this is a German issue of the album. I like the fact it's got this Hype sticker on it. The design of the album sleeve, no matter what country pressing it is, I think looks pretty much identical to one another. But New Order contribute how many tracks for this? It's at least 4, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's also got tracks from Cabaret Voltaire, The Horde, an act called Jumping Jesus. Arthur Baker is on here, Dominique, who I believe that's Dominique there, who's actually in the film. I've never seen the film, apparently it's not very good. It was a bit of a ropey movie. I always quite like this. The New Order tracks on it, they're a little bit demo style, to be fair. They're more like vignettes than full-length tracks. I think this track 4 on side A is Touched by the Hand of God. I think even that is sort of like a not much more than a demo version of what became a single around the same time. Let's have a quick look at the vinyl here. I've not really done an inspection on most of this stuff. It's on the Interphon or Interphone label, which is a German label. Again, the actual sleeve, I would argue, has seen better days. There's a little bit of a slit in it really that shouldn't be there, but it's nothing that either can't be fixed or at least just treated with a little extra care, which is what I'm trying to do now as I get the thing back in. So there we go, that is Salvation soundtrack. And finally, mail opening to do. This came today. This is an order of 2 records from Dig Vinyl in Liverpool. I've used those 2 or 3 times already. I really like that site actually. You've seen me show stuff that I've bought from there on past records roundups, but they had a couple of New Order related releases. I've been impressed with their customer service and their choice. Looks like one thing has been separated out, the record in the inner from the outer, and has the other, yeah, the other one as well has actually put their obligatory flyer in. Good stuff, go and check them out. One album and 1 12-inch single here. I'll show you the 12-inch single first, if only because that one's on top, and it is Here to Stay from 2002. So as you can see from the hype, it is from the film 24 Hour Party People. Once again, similar to Crystal, I've got the 2 CD singles and the DVD single, but I hadn't got it on 12-inch until now. I think this is the only 12-inch version that's come out, whereas with Crystal there's like 3 different 12-inch singles that have come out, and I'm not including promo versions or anything, by the way. Although I don't mind picking up the odd promo edition as and when, really, on a case-by-case basis. I just don't want to go down a rabbit hole when I'm trying to get all the promos for New Order ever, because it's just going to be overwhelming. I'd rather get the official singles, the official UK singles, and then I've got a few imports scattered in my collection as well. And stuff like the Salvation album, that never got a proper UK release on vinyl, so you had to get a European pressing for that. But anyway, the Here to Stay single, I didn't read the tracks out, but it's got the full-length vocal version and also Crystal on side A. On side B, it's the Felix the Housecat extended glitz mix of Here to Stay and the Scumfrog dub mix. I've talked about 24 Hour Party People before plenty of times. I'm not going to go on about it again. Although actually I need to an extent, but you'll see why when I show you the final item. But it's kind of fitting that these 2 pickups from Dig Vinyl are both related to one another via that film. This was the track that played over the end credits of 24 Hour Party People and was produced by the Chemical Brothers, by the way, for those who didn't know. So Here to Stay, and lastly is something that is an official release, even though it doesn't seem to be an official soundtrack, but it's something that is so unusual. I've nearly pulled the trigger on this a few times over the past couple of months, and finally I did, and it is this vinyl edition, this album which is music from and inspired by 24 Hour Party People. I love the artwork, it's beautiful. That, what a great sleeve that is. One of my favourite sleeves that I've got in my collection this year, I think. It's just fantastic, and the back looks good as well. You know, it's got a real good rendition of the old factory club in Hume there, and then we've got the Hacienda black and yellow stripes along the top of the back here. Like I say, this, and what's the record label? 80s Vinyl Records, which sounds a very generic record label, but I looked them up. Legit company. They do a lot of these. They sort of release these soundtrack albums that maybe aren't 100% licensed by the movie makers or the record labels or whatever, but they're official, they're a legitimate product, but they're just allowed to sort of, you know, go to town with the artwork and stuff. Interesting. I recommend looking up the record label and their online shop, actually, because I think they're a Liverpool record label and they've partnered with some other online website where you can buy this and all the other soundtracks that they do, and they might be a little bit cheaper than Dig Vinyl, not by much. This was £30 brand new, and I was fine with that. I think they've got a much bigger choice, and I wanted to buy that Here to Stay 12-inch from Dig, so I just thought I'd buy this from there as well, even though it was maybe £2 or £3 more expensive than going to their, I can't remember what their online shop's called. It's not called 80s Vinyl Records, it's something else. But I've got the 24 Hour Party People soundtrack on CD, once again, had it many years. It's got way more tracks on it than this has. This is like selections from, and it's got 3 tracks from Joy Division on side A, Digital Live, She's Lost Control, Love Will Tear Us Apart, and then it's got Flight by a Certain Ratio, and Jacqueline and Otis by the Durutti Column, and then side B, Blue Monday by New Order, and then 3 from the Happy Mondays, Hallelujah, Club Mix, Kinky Afro, and rather appropriately closes out with 24 Hour Party People. Plain black inner, but check this vinyl out. This is classed as deep red wine vinyl. So according to the listings on Discogs, this is eco vinyl that 80s Vinyl Records in Liverpool uses, and this comes in one of 2 colours. I can't remember the other colour. It might have classed it as lavender or something like that. Because this was opened, even though it's a new product, Dig Records knew that this was the deep red wine version. There we go. Yeah, very happy with that. An unusual thing, I don't know if the official soundtrack album from 2002 even had a vinyl release. I'm guessing it probably didn't. I should have probably looked it up beforehand. Just for the artwork alone. It's got some good stuff on it. The Joy Division and New Order tracks I didn't need, and the Happy Mondays ones I'm very familiar with. The Certain Ratio and Durutti Column ones, maybe not so much, but I think all those are on the soundtrack CD I've got. It's just a CD I've not listened to in donkey's years, so I can't quite remember. Really nice thing that 24 Hour Party People, a sort of soundtrack on deep red wine vinyl. And that's all the New Order and related pickups today. Wow, this video has gone on longer than I thought it would, but I knew there was a lot of stuff to show you, so perhaps I should have expected it. But thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. Will there be a part 3? You never know. I have ordered other New Order 12-inch singles that hopefully will be coming in the post as I am recording this. But if it's just like the odd 1 or 2, then I'll just bundle those in with the normal Records Roundup videos. But if I find that I'm placing a bulk order for a lot of New Order or related at a particular place, then there might be a part 3 at some point, because I'm really enjoying just filling these holes, particularly for the singles. The 7-inch singles now, I'm pretty much done on them, I think. I will check, and I'm not including promos and import copies and stuff like that, so, you know, don't write in other words. 12 inches, I know there's still some to get, and there's some that are ridiculous money, so I may never get them, but who knows. And it's just fun to see what's out there, really. I want to say special thanks to my wonderful subscribers and generous patrons. I'm going to go now. Loads of New Order to listen to. What would you start with out of all that? Let me know in the comments, and I do hope that all of you will join me again next time for my next New Order related and record collecting video. Cheers everyone. See ya!